Mike, you're a member of a very exclusive club, and I'm not talking about a Pro Bowl quarterback or somebody that was runner-up for the Heisman Trophy. I'm talking about left-handed quarterbacks. There are not many of you guys out there. We got a new one now in the club with Tua Tagovailoa coming into the NFL. What was the biggest challenge, or maybe the biggest difference for you as a lefty?
My coach is always thinking that they had to run everything to the left side of the field. Like, coach, I'm ambidextrous. I can do it all. Like, go right, because the defense think I'm coming left.
Go, Mike Vick! This is over! It's over!
I had that fight with several coaches, and they do it for a comfort level, but it's up to you to let them know that I can do it from the left side or the right side. I know I was more accurate throwing passes to my right side across my body than I was to the left side. So, if I had like a deep over route going to my right, coming across my body just felt more, my legs and my base to make that throw to the left. Sometimes it was difficult for me. I found a way to get it done. I love the fact that Tua is in the league. He reminds me so much of Steve Young. And when I look at, what he's been able to accomplish, just the way he set up in the pocket, his base, it's just a quick in and out motion. If you watch it over and over again, it's not a long, winding throw motion. I felt like I was accurate as a left-handed quarterback, but I wasn't Steve Young accurate. I wasn't even Mark Brunell accurate. He kind of looked like Mark Brunell as well.
Mark turns, looking for Jimmy in the end zone. Touchdown, Jaguars!
In your mind, when you work with teammates, how have you had to help them adjust to the ball coming out a little differently because you're left-handed as opposed to right-handed?
The good receivers, the guys that could catch. And believe it or not, there's some guys in the NFL that aren't as good as others at catching the ball. The good ones never had a problem with it. I was fortunate to have Jimmy Smith and Keenan McCardell and some real good receivers in my time. And those guys never one time said that you had to adjust, the ball does this. They just found a way to catch the ball. Now, there were some guys that didn't stick around very long that had a tough time catching a left-handed ball, and because they had to adjust to me. I wouldn't change it for them. That would have been impossible. But they didn't stick around very long if they couldn't catch the messed up spin. But listen, if you're a good receiver, it don't matter which way it spins. You find a way to catch it.
And then I had Mark Brunell over there in Green Bay when we were together. I had Steve Young, and it is a challenge. And if your backup is left-handed, like Brunell was, okay? You remember when Favre was starting, and then we had two backups. We had Ty Dittmer and Mark Brunell, and we couldn't decide who should be the backup and who should be the third guy who's inactive. So what we did, we alternated. But that messes you up, because when you're on the goal line, you don't run past 6'4" quarterback, one way, and then you got to practice the other way for the left-handers. That you do sprint right option, sprint left option. You got to flip your play action and movement, and that's a third of your package, maybe more. And you simply have to flip them over right and left if you're right-handed or left-handed. So it creates a little bit of a practice issue. The ball spins different. It's different for the receiver.
I want to get up the field a little bit, because what happens is he releases me and runs behind me. So when I stop, try and pull back through him, he's in front of me,
But probably the hardest thing for me was the rotation of the ball.
It's a little bit different of a dynamic. The ball comes out of our hands a little bit differently, and it comes from a different arm angle and slot.
So from a right-handed passer, you're predominantly catching the ball with your right hand.
Deep for Collinsworth, he's open. Got it, what a catch. Going downfield, looking directly back over his hip.
So that to me always felt like the pressure point of catching the ball from a right-hander. So your whole life, that's all you did. You just caught the ball, sort of with your right hand 3/4 and your left hand 1/4.
Yeah, I don't know. I often ask my receivers if it was that much of a difference catching the ball for me. After about a week, they got used to it.
Now a left-handed quarterback comes along, and now you're catching at 3/4 with your left hand and 1/4 with your right hand, which is completely opposite of what you're used to doing over the entirety of your career.
If you're not used to playing with a left-hander, I could see how that could be a little bit uncomfortable at the beginning.
And plus, Boomer threw the ball about 400 miles an hour. He threw everything a little bit high.
Cris Collinsworth used to complain that I threw the ball high.
And it was, the first game he ever played that we ever played together with him as a starter, he threw me 17 passes in that game. And about the third one was so high, and I jumped up, and the guy did the old flip me over thing. And by the end of this game, the next day, he sent a masseuse to my house.
You know, and I would just say, just go up and get it, for God's sake. That's what we're paying for. Paying you. I don't know why more left-handers aren't playing quarterback. I don't know if it's something at the youth level, but I never thought of anything but being a quarterback. You know, I started playing when I was 10, and I was a quarterback from the first day and until the last day I walked off the NFL football field.